Hey, welcome back, guys. So today on this video, we are talking about your deal machine account, and more specifically, I'm going to quickly answer a question I keep getting a lot on my other video, and that is, how do you run comps in deal machine? So let's go ahead and talk about this. First off, guys, real quick video, not too many steps involved, so be sure to stick around to the end of the video. But why would you want to run comps in deal machine anyways? Well, that's pretty easy. If you're a real estate investor, or maybe you're running a wholesale business, sometimes you're negotiating with a seller, so you want to make sure you're having a good conversation and you're getting a good deal, and running comps is a good way to give you a baseline. Whatever the case is, it's a pretty easy process. It's handled here in your deal machine account. Check my video description. I'll try to leave the written instructions there as well. But I've already logged into my deal machine account, and this is the home screen. Now, before we go any further, I want to let you know there's a lot of different ways you can run comps. So this is how I like to run comps when I'm negotiating with the property owner. So first off, you need to get to the general area. Usually you want to be within a half mile of the property. So what I'm going to do normally is I'm going to go ahead and just zoom in to where the subject property is. You can also go by zip code. However, in the markets that I work, if you generalize in a zip code, you could be way off, because some properties are in the same zip code, but they're right next to a freeway, or they're on the wrong side of the railroad tracks. So normally what I'm going to do, rather than searching by a zip code, I'm going to go ahead and just zoom into the property. Okay, once you zoom into the general area, I'm normally going to use the draw feature. So I'm going to click up here on this little pencil icon. Okay, let's say that the subject property is right here. So this looks like a main street. So I don't want to be on the wrong side of the main street. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this little corner up here on the top, and then you can see we have a line that I'm dragging around right now, and then just drag it on over to the next busy street, and I'm going to click there, and you can see that it creates a new line. So I can go ahead and adjust that down to the next busy street, and then I'm going to go ahead and drag it over here to this corner on this busy street, and you can keep clicking and it creates a new point. So we'll drag it up here until you finally get back to the main or the original point, and then you're going to click on that. Okay, so now we've created the area. So when I'm pulling comps, if my house is right here, it's only going to pull houses that seem to be similar on the same side of each busy street. So you can see there's about 647 properties right down here on the left within that area. So if I'm negotiating a property for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, I don't really want to be looking at houses that are 5 bedrooms, 5 baths. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start filtering it out. So first off, what I'm going to do is click on property type. And if I'm comping a single family, I'm going to make sure that I'm only looking at single family. So I'm going to click there. Okay, you can see it drops down to 595 properties. And then next I'm going to go here, bed and bath. So I want to comp it out on properties that are the same as mine. So 3-bedroom and 2-bath. Okay, so now you can see there's 145 3-bedroom, 2-bath single family in that little area that we drew. And the next what I'm going to do is click here on more. Once you click on more, this is going to open up, and you want to go all the way down to property characteristics. Once you do that, you want to go here, living area square foot. So if the property I'm comping out is 1,000 square feet, I usually don't want to go above 1,200 square feet for the similar properties, or below 800. So there's a little bit of a variance. So let me go ahead and click here is greater than, and I'm going to do greater than 800 square feet. Make sure you click on confirm, and I'm going to grab this one right here, and we're going to add another filter for property characteristics, living area again, and less than, let's do 1,200 square feet and confirm. So now any property needs to be more than 800 square feet, but less than 1,200. So you can see it drop down to 20 properties. And lastly, I'm going to click on and then we need to look at recent sales. So what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down until we see MLS information, and then we're going to click on market status, and then we're going to look at recently sold. So recently sold is usually within the past 6 months, and be sure to scroll up and click on confirm. Okay, you can see that there's only one property that fits that particular area in those parameters. So let me close this out, and here is our comparable sale. So let's go ahead and click into it. Okay, we can see that it sold for 475,000. So me personally, I generally want to look for 3 or 4 comps. So if that is only coming up with one comparable, sometimes we can go ahead and open up this area a little bit and maybe search a little bit further out, or maybe we can go ahead and increase the square footage, or maybe we can go ahead and, instead of recently sold, we can go ahead and click on here and scroll down to MLS and then market status, and then we can go ahead and add in the active properties and also pending properties, and then confirm. So it doesn't look like there's any active or pending. So let me go ahead and delete that condition. So once you have about 3 or 4 different comps, you're going to get a good idea of what properties are going for in that area based on the square footage. So this one is 1,594. So if my property is 1,000 square feet, this one's not really a good comp because it's a little bit bigger. So what I would normally do is just open this up a little bit. So let me go ahead and trash this drop, and then let's go ahead and draw another line, maybe going out to here. We'll go here, and then we'll go over here to this section, over here, down here, and then back up to here. Okay, now we can go ahead and just build out our comps once again. So single family, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and go over here to more, property characteristics, living area greater than 800, confirm, and living area less than or equal to 1,200, confirm, and let's go to MLS information, market status, recently sold, confirm. Okay, so it's having trouble pulling up comparables just because there hasn't been a lot of sales in this area. So I backed it out to the zip code, and you can see there's 6 properties that fit that characteristic. So we would just kind of scroll through. So if this person's trying to sell me their house at 700,000, I can see that these properties are going for 400. This one's 565, 416. So you're going to get a good idea of what those properties are selling for. So there you have it, guys. If you're wondering how to comp a property in Deal Machine, that's the easiest way I know how to do it. If you know an easier way, be sure to leave a comment below. Let the rest of us know how you did it. Hopefully you found that video useful. If so, click thumbs up or maybe consider subscribing to my channel, and I hope to see you on the next video. Thanks again for watching.